Good afternoon. This is Martial Mentality. I'm your host, Delmar Minor. And allow me to reintroduce myself. I have been doing martial arts for over 21 years. I am the head instructor here at the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And we would love for you guys to please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. We also have a page on Instagram, the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu, and Facebook as well. So today we're going to be covering a topic that's really dear to my heart and also to our guests here. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So over here I have with me.
My name is Joseph Blackwelder. I'm a student here at the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu. I've been here about 2 years, and martial arts is just a topic I've got into, and I've really loved it. It's really changed my life. So we're gonna talk about some of that today.
Hi again, my name is Trevor Taylor. I'm one of the assistant instructors here at the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu, and I just had my 14-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary,
Nice.
Trevor.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
good job.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary. So again, please like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, we're on YouTube under the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu, and you can find us on Instagram under the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu and Facebook as well. And we also want to let you guys know that we have an upcoming tournament, the Fall Classic. That's going to be happening October 12th, 2024 at the Embassy Suites in Ardsley and Charlotte, North Carolina. So, hey, if you feel like you want to come out and show your skills, sign up at www.kungfuforever.com/tournaments. So, guys, let's get into our topic today. So our topic is how martial arts carries over into our day-to-day lives. Joe, let's start with you. What got you into martial arts?
Martial arts has appealed to me since a young age, but for whatever reason, it took me until 30 years old to really formally start doing it. But hey, better late than never. So, first of all, I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. Goku's like my favorite character. It wasn't just the fact that he was a great fighter. It was the fact that, he was humble, he was smart. I kind of carried that with me. I've also got a military mindset because I've got a military background. And it's just the fact that when I seen people that practice martial arts, they had a certain way they carried themselves. It's like things didn't really bother them. They were very respectful. They were very disciplined. And that's what drew me into it.
So when you say like the way people carry themselves, can you expound upon that a little bit more?
Right. I mean, they're not uptight. They've got a certain attitude where, they work hard, but they don't try to put themselves above anybody else. I'm going to respect you regardless. Have you ever heard like people say the phrase like that you command respect?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Like they're not saying like, "Hey, respect me," but it's just the way they carry themselves is like, man, it's a good person. You want to respect them.
That kind of reminds me of, here at the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu, one of our mottos is humble hearts, fearless fist.
Yeah,
and I think
right.
what you said kind of, exemplifies that you can be humble, but you can be fearless at the same time.
Exactly. We're training to fight, but we're learning how to fight so we don't have to.
Right. So Trevor, what got you into martial arts?
Kind of the same thing. I grew up watching Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, stuff like that, The Karate Kid, and I kind of always like just wanted to do that. And like kind of like what he was saying, like people who are good at martial arts and whatnot, they do really exude this type of confidence and just like they can command a room in a way. And it's just kind of like I kind of always wanted, I want to be able to do that,
Okay.
Right. Yeah, they really have confidence.
Well, let me say how I got into martial arts, because mine is kind of like a combination of the both of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up, I was born in 84, so I kind of got portion of the 80s, but I'm kind of more of a 90s kid. I'm in that awkward phase. But either way, that was the Ninja Turtles, the Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, anime. All of those things kind of got me into martial arts. And I remember when I was a kid, I was kind of a shy guy, and I never really put myself out there much, never thought about taking the lead on anything like that. And so I thought doing martial arts would make me powerful. I was like, I'm going to be powerful. I'm going to be like Goku, or I'll be like Leonardo, or, it's going to make me into a Power Ranger. But regardless, after actually doing martial arts, I felt that it did affect me more than just teaching me fighting skills. It gave me confidence, and it actually goes with our topic. It really did help me in my day-to-day life, more so than it probably did anything else. So let's go to our first question here. How do you feel martial arts carries over into your home life, Trevor?
I mean, it kind of just does. I don't know how to really explain it. Other than, I mean, the lessons and stuff you take from in here, like learning to control your emotions, think things through, the problems, stuff like that. I mean, you got to do that in your daily life too, especially when it comes to, especially I would say your home life. Trying to compromise, with your spouse, etc. Working through problems, not letting the anger get the best of you, learning to think through things with a cool and collected mind.
So it's kind of interesting because we're all married here.
Yeah.
So Joe, going to you now. I mean, obviously, same question, but as a married man, how are you using martial arts to navigate your relationships?
Oh man, the marriage part's a little tougher, but I'll get into it. So like we have a creed here at our school, and part of that creed is I will be disciplined in all areas of my life. And when I'm here at the school, you're telling us our lesson for the day and we're doing it and we're showing discipline. But like when we walk out that door, it's on us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it can be as simple or as deep as you want to make it. It can be as simple as I need to take my trash to the dump today. I need to cut my grass today. And it can be as deep as like tragedy or something happened in your life and you finding that discipline and that control of your emotions to like overcome it and do better for yourself. So in the marriage aspect, it just comes down to everybody's going to have problems in their marriage.
Yep.
They say there's no perfect couple. You just find like the best match for you and then y'all got to make it work. I don't know. It's tough.
It reminds me of a quote, and we kind of talked about this. We've shared this. You got to choose your heart.
Yeah.
What's your heart? So
right.
Your heart can be, let's say, working out. Yeah, it's hard to go to the gym and it's hard to get up and be disciplined. But, your other heart may be being out of shape and dealing with health issues.
Oh, yeah. Pick your poison.
Right. So what's your heart? Do you want to be disciplined in the area where, yeah, this may be painful, but you're going to, like we've talked before, you got to eat bitter to taste sweet.
Definitely.
Right.
So too many people want the quick solution instead of just putting in that hard work.
Yep. Life's hard whether you're lazy and sitting on the couch or if you're up working out. So,
it's up to you to what's the word I'm looking for? It's up to you on how hard your life's going to be.
Right.
Right.
And so, guys, I just want to also say that we are in a martial arts school, so sometimes you may hear a random noise because we do have people training. So I just want to let everybody know that on camera that, we are an active martial arts school.
Like
things are always going on.
Right next door.
Yeah, we have a class going on next door. And, for you guys, we also want to just, encourage you that if there's something that you want to do with your life, martial arts is a great way to kind of springboard you into those things. So this is how, for us, martial arts definitely has affected our lives. And in fact, later on, hopefully we will be able to kind of, expound upon, how the martial arts has catapulted us in our regular daily lives into something, that's our goals and things of that nature. But anyway, so just moving on. So how do you feel the martial arts has helped you in your work life, Trevor?
It's given me the confidence to, show that, yes, I can do the job and I can learn how to do things. Especially, you're going to an interview, you're selling yourself. So you got to have some type of confidence about you and said, hey, I may not, maybe I don't know a lot about this field, but I can get in here and I can learn it. When you're going at, like recently, I've had to start talking to customers. So I'm having to call them and talk to them on the phone. And, you got to kind of mentally prepare yourself, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. Just show that through the way you carry yourself in these conversations, and it's going to be better for you. It helps you when it comes to showing your bosses and stuff like, hey, I can do more work, give it to me, or
Well, kind of piggybacking off of that, I feel like when you, like you said earlier, you talked about like martial artists carry themselves a certain type of way. When you have that body language, that what do they call it in French? That je ne sais quoi. I guess that's what it is.
Eloquence.
Yeah,
Something
or I guess
Not really eloquent. Yeah, I don't know.
we call it in America swag. You come in with that
Yeah.
swag, you command the room. And if you understand what you're doing, what you're talking about, that does create a different confidence level for you, but it also creates a different confidence level for those who, maybe you're working for or presenting to and things of that nature.
Right.
Another thing that, how this carries over in the work life. I mean, we have to deal with stress when it comes to, sparring, stuff like that. Some of the self-defense stuff, we try to, make it as real as possible to get you in that mindset of, I'm doing this. And it carries over to the fact, like, let's say you're dealing with a difficult customer. They're yelling and screaming at you because their delivery is late, and you got to keep yourself calm, cool, and composed in order to be able to handle yourself and not get yourself in trouble because maybe they make you mad, and you got to kind of step back and be like, what, don't need to fly out the handle at this guy. He's having a bad day. We're not going to make it worse.
Right. We're learning how to fight, but there's more to it than that. We're learning conflict resolution skills. That means, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Exactly.
people are having a disagreement at work. It doesn't mean you're going and throwing your fist, throwing
Right.
kicks.
Even though
you're
you
gonna-
might want to sometimes.
Sometimes you want to. That's the other part of it too. You control your emotions. You resolve this conflict peacefully,
Right.
and you move on with your day. Keep moving.
So, Joe, I mean, you kind of already started, but how is it affecting your work life?
Okay, I had a good response to this. I've got kind of a saying for myself, and it's no matter what you want, no matter what it is, like whatever we're talking about martial arts here, right? So I would love to be able to throw a kick like Bruce Lee or Claude Van Damme, you know what I mean? But it takes a lot of work to get there. So my saying is like, in order to get the things you want, you have to do things that you don't want to do, right? Like everybody wants to get in shape, but are you willing to put in that work to get there? So as far as it affecting my work life, it's like I'm out here willingly putting challenges in front of myself, like weekly, daily, so when it comes to work, it's easy. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it like another challenge. I'm going to get up today. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do my best. And
So, for me, my work life is okay. Let me tell you from a teacher perspective, and also from, just an employee, I guess in the regular world. So, for my job that I do outside of the school, I am a case manager for individuals who have disabilities and special needs. I deal with the public every day. And it can be very difficult to control your emotions when you have people calling you and cussing you out, which actually happened to me yesterday. I had somebody call me randomly and just cuss me out.
nice.
Yeah, it's nice,
Right.
when,
It's a great way to have your day going.
and what really helps me, my martial arts has really taught me self-control because I have to understand, and it's also taught me perspective. So when I am paying attention to people around me, I'm able to kind of see, okay, I need to take my own emotions out of it, and I need to make sure that I handle this situation appropriately, just like I would in a real life altercation if it was physical.
Right.
And so in this respect, it has really, like you said before, it taught me conflict resolution. How I talk to you, how I approach you may determine how that situation turns out. So instead of me responding back at this person with anger, I came at them in a calm demeanor. I was able to kind of eventually calm them down. Doesn't necessarily mean that, they still weren't upset, but guess what? Now the yelling's not so much, the cursing's not so much, and I'm able to maybe talk some sense into that person. So for my work life, it has really, really helped me when I'm dealing with situations like that. However, one thing that we all deal with is we have to deal with our own emotions. And sometimes the battle is not necessarily with the outside, it's with the inside.
And that's
Yep.
not always a easy battle to win.
No, that's the
sometimes.
hardest one. That's the hardest one. Yeah. That's the one you have to win every day.
Well, to know oneself is super difficult. And because we are ever-changing beings, we change
Right.
every day. We deal with things every day. And so one day yeah, man, I'm on top of the world. I got this. And then the next day you may be in the lowest valley. And so to regulate that as a human being, especially in the world we live in today, is really difficult. So I think for all of us here, practicing martial arts really helps us regulate those emotions and how we feel. So anything else on that question, gentlemen, before we move on to the next one? Anything else you can think of? All right.
we can
Off the
move
top of
on.
my head.
Yeah.
So real quick, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. What's up, guys? Hey, look, we got to pay the bills. So I want to plug the 2024 Fall Classic. Make sure, remember, www.kungfuforever.com/tournaments in order to sign up. We have an early bird special going on right now. You can get in for $100. After October 6th, though, it goes up to $120. So, Trevor, Joe, both of you have experienced the Fall Classic as either competitors or you've experienced it as a judge or helping out. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience, Trevor?
I've both competed as well as judged over the past couple years and just volunteered doing other things. Every year, it's always fun. I get to see friends that I don't normally get to see. You know, we got people in other states, other countries that come out to this tournament, and we just, get together and have a good time. You get to, hey, look what I learned. Look what I learned this year, and you just get out there and do yourself and your school proud.
Okay. Joe, what about you?
So I've competed in 2 tournaments so far, and I'll be volunteering for the Fall Classic. This will be my first volunteer one. And all I can say is if you have any interest in martial arts, come check it out. Whether you want to enter the tournament or spectate, you won't be let down. You'll have a great time.
So again, we want to invite you guys to the Fall Classic. Remember, it's October 24th. It's at the Embassy Suites in Ardsley in Charlotte, North Carolina. And again, catch that early bird special. All right? It ends October 6th. And we have a lot of different events this year. Forms, continuous sparring, Jinshu, Lei Tai. Guys, look, you're going to have an awesome time. And please tell your friends and families and spectators, come out and watch. Who does not want to see somebody get punched in the face?
I know I do.
I mean, most people come out, you're going to pull your phones out anyway, right? If you see a fight. Well, guess what? Here, you can actually watch somebody compete, spar, and it's legal.
It's like World Star, but in real life.
Yeah.
It's quality
There
entertainment.
you go, right. And you can post it all on YouTube. So again, we love to invite you guys to the Fall Classic. Hey, everybody, we're back. So, Joe, let me ask you a question, man. Joe, you've come here, you've been here about 2 years now.
Mhm.
And can you personally tell me some of the things that martial arts has done for you, as an individual, as a father? I mean, like, you're a really interesting guy. So, let's tell everybody out in YouTube land and who's listening just how, martial arts has affected your life personally.
Gotcha. It's affected me in a lot of ways. We talked about this the other day. So even though I just started formally training in martial arts, it has always appealed to me, and that mindset, that martial mentality, I've always had that, like, and now that I'm the age I'm at now and I've got a family and I've got kids, one of the biggest takeaways for me is that, I have a son and a daughter who looks up to me, right? And one thing I refuse to do is let them see me in a light where I am not trying to push the envelope. I'm not trying to better myself, no matter what it is. We've talked many times, Kung Fu doesn't necessarily mean just fighting. Kung Fu is like, that kind of like discipline over time in any given area. So that's what I'm looking for. And that's where it's translating into my life. That's what I'm thinking outside of this classroom, aside from fighting, is that no matter what task is in front of me, I'm going to meet it with like force and a level head, and I'm going to overcome it. And I want to show my kids that.
And, that definitely, I think martial arts definitely develops a martial mentality, like you said. And so you can use that same mentality towards anything in your life.
Right.
How are you okay, I'm going to use these words. How are you attacking your relationships? How are you attacking your problems? How are you, maybe even dealing with that project that you have at work that is stressing you out? How are you going to attack that? How are you going to attack your goals?
Right.
And going to you, Trevor, you've recently been married for 2 years now?
2 years in June.
2 years, and you don't have children.
No.
And so, it's a different thing that you're dealing with in your own personal life. And I know you recently just started a new job. Can you kind of expound upon how your martial arts has helped you with the new transitions in your life?
All right, well, let's talk about the job first. So I started a new job in April, I believe, the week after we came back from the tournament in New York.
Right.
And it's just been trying to learn that myself to realize that new field, I'm in construction now versus what I was doing when telecommunications, doing CAD work for them. And it's a whole new way of operations. They, whole new way of doing things. They draw stuff differently. There's deadlines for this, deadlines for that. So it's just, time management, stuff like that. And I also got to realize that I'm not going to get this right away. And I'm one of those people, if I don't get things right away, I kind of get frustrated. I mean, as you know. And it's just having to, kind of take a step back and realize, what, this is all a learning process. I wasn't doing what I do now with martial arts day one, And I got to realize, everything's a process and it's going to take time. And I'm getting the hang of some stuff. Some stuff is still taking a while just because I'm not that great at math. But, I mean, everything's a learning process. And
that's a good point. My son struggles with this. Like I said, he's a young buck. He's 6 years old. And I'm, getting older, but I'm still realizing this too, that you're not going to get things first try. Things take time, and that's part of the discipline that comes with it. Every day you gotta show up. You gotta put in the work to get better.
So that goes with, and this is a whole nother podcast, but I kind of want to quickly segue. For those of you who don't know, Kung Fu or Gung Fu actually means, or some people translate it as, hard work over time or concentrated skill. And so Kung Fu or Gung Fu can be something, could be anything that you put time and skill into. It could be, your work. It could be your family life. It could be being a chef.
Playing guitar,
playing music, that's your Gung Fu.
Right.
But what most people have done is they now take that term and equate it to martial arts.
Yeah.
And so as we, continue our lives and things like that, that Kung Fu or that martial mentality, like I said, it translates over into those different things. And so for me, definitely, we talked about earlier about my own work experience, but as far as for my personal life, it can be very difficult sometimes my job is dealing with other people's problems.
Yep.
And then I still have to deal with my own problems. And then when you come into the school as a teacher, your problems don't magically go away. And so sometimes you have to really recenter yourself, because when you come in here, just like anybody else, some days you're like, man, I'm having a rough day today, but I have to smile. I have to make sure that I'm being encouraging to people.
Yeah.
I have to make sure that, people are being encouraged by, how you're presenting this information to them.
Attitude is contagious. One person with one crappy attitude in a room full of people, everyone's going to be immediately thinking that same way.
Sometimes the reverse can be true as well. Like, people can be having a bad day, but when you walk in there and, your bright, cheerful self, or you show that confidence and like, look, no matter what's going on, we can fix this.
There's been plenty of times where I have had just a crap day, and I come in here and I'm like, I'm home. I ain't got to worry about that right now. I can worry, that can be worried about once I leave this building, or the next day or whatever. But right now, this is my me time.
And also how you present that to different age groups changes too. Because when you're talking to children, you're not going to talk to kids the same way you would talk to a teenager as you would an adult.
Correct.
Or even an elderly person.
Right.
So,
That's true.
that's the whole different levels of, how you're presenting information to different age groups, different backgrounds, things of that nature. But, that's a whole nother podcast. So I have another question for you guys. Do you think martial arts affects individuals who have anxiety and depression? Do you feel like that assists them? Does it help them? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, in general, there's plenty of articles and books out there that shows that any type of physical activity has an effect on your mental state and whatnot, and it can be good for the good of you. There's plenty of times. I'll go in personal. last year, I was unemployed for a little bit. In the beginning of this year, I got laid off, and I had this to kind of keep me sane because I could see like how people could get, if they don't have some type of outlet for themselves. Like I see why people are, like, man, I'm just depressed and I can't deal with this. Like I kind of could see why it's like, I never had anything like suicidal thoughts or nothing, but I could see how people can get in that dark hole and feel like they can't get out of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like this always gave me some type of purpose. I said, you know what? I can at least go to the school today and work out and help my brothers and sisters and stuff like that. And that kind of gave me some purpose and some drive.
That's the word that comes
continue
to
to
mind.
get up during the day. And, it fed into, hey, I don't have a job right now, but that ain't going to stop me from getting up and applying to as many as I can today and stuff like that.
So, real quick before I get to Joe, what people don't realize is the camaraderie that you develop here at a good martial arts school is contagious. So when you have an instructor or instructors who are encouraging you, when you have classmates that are encouraging you, that feeds into you. You will assimilate into that culture. And so that's why your school or the people that you hang around, you need to have a good culture around you in order to, when you have those low times in your life, that they can say, nah, man, we're going to pick you up. And another thing, too, that I've realized, too, being here at a martial arts school, is that you make so many different connections. And there are a lot of times, like I remember for you, Trevor White, when you were looking for a job, you were like, well, hey, you would go to some of the parents here, or you would go to some of the other, some of your other classmates, and they would give you ideas. They put in good words for you. And I think that made you looking for a job easier.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Because if I hadn't had that, I don't honestly know what I would have done. I'm glad I have, y'all and this.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joe, same thing to you.
So going back to something Trevor said, there's a saying that comes to mind: idle hands are the devil's playground. You know what I mean? If you're not living with a purpose, like, dark thoughts can kind of enter your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to have a purpose. And another saying, I've got a good friend who I work out with sometimes outside of here. He has a saying that if you're living in your head, get in your body.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh, I do like that. That needs to be on a
That's
t-shirt.
a great quote.
Right. Like, it is amazing, and I swear by this, that no matter what it is, martial arts or just exercise in general, you'd be amazed at what it does to your mental state. When you're sitting there and all these thoughts are in, if you just going out, go for a walk, break a sweat, do something, you'd be and doing it for the right reasons, not because somebody told you to, but you're making a conscious decision to better yourself. And that's step one. And you take those steps, suddenly your mental fortitude just goes through the roof. You're no longer, anxiety you can manage those things.
It
So
helps
that's
even-
kind of how I look at it.
Helps even you out.
It does. It really does.
I could be, pissed off at something, job, whatever, and I can come in here and literally just work my tail off. And then
yeah.
at the very end of it, you're kind of like, what was I even mad about?
It literally happened to me last class. I came in I was not in a good mood. I try not to show it. That's part of the martial arts, right? We're trying to stay level, but I was not in a good mood.
Mm-hmm.
But I started hitting the bag, going through the lesson, working on my technique, and I'm like, man. And not to mention that, you know what else helps? The fact that, again, we're working as a team. So I'm bettering myself, but then we're helping each other as well. It really does loads for your mental state.
Well, once again, I'm coming from that, teacher standpoint. Man, you come in here some days, and like I just said, I come from my job, and somebody has just wore me out all day. They are yelling at me. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And so I've learned you can't take that stuff personally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so even now, let me tell you this personal experience. Now that we're doing more stuff on YouTube, now that we're doing more stuff, out in the community and things of that nature, people are seeing our faces more.
Yeah.
And as we all know, the internet culture can sometimes be a
Toxic.
negative and toxic
Yes.
culture.
It is.
Right.
It's a good and it's also a bad thing.
You're right. It's a
Right.
great thing. It's one of the best things that ever happened to the planet, and it's one of the worst things
Right.
that ever happened to the planet.
Right.
And so I've had to understand that not everybody's going to like what we have to say. Not everybody's going to agree with our points of view. And some people are going to express that. I cannot take that personally because you have a right to your own opinion. I cannot feel like, oh, this is a personal attack on me or a personal attack on you, Joe, or a personal attack on you, Trevor. No, this is that person's opinion. And I have to be okay with that. How I handle myself is really what determines my measure as a martial artist, as a man, as a person.
True. It's so true. Through my whole life, I've had a problem with, I feel like I put people on a pedestal. I feel like I may not even know this person, but I automatically assume like whatever they're speaking on or doing, like they're better than me at it. You know, and I've come to realize like most people are not. You know what I mean? Like I'll take advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about. So you have to take these opinions with a grain of salt.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or criticism. You know what I mean? Everybody can criticize you, but that doesn't mean all of them are right.
Right.
You know, so it's like, would you take fitness advice from somebody who's clearly not taking care of themselves, or would you go to a fitness coach like who's practicing what they preach? They work out every day.
Right. And you also got to realize that a lot of times when people have negative opinions or they say something off about you, a lot of times that is a inward reflection on themselves that they are putting out to the public or whatever.
Right.
And this is some advice to everybody who's listening or who's watching this. You know, you have to develop self-confidence in yourself. Know who you are. And martial arts is a thing that you can use in order to build up the inner man. One thing that we do here at the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu, we don't allow people to say the word can't. And let me tell you why. Because there's an old saying, or old samurai proverb that says, don't speak ill of the warrior within because he hears and he is affected by that. And so when you do that, when you talk negative about yourself, when you tell yourself, I can't do this, I'm that, what you're doing subconsciously is you're believing what you're saying because you're repeating that in your head.
Putting limitations on yourself.
How
Yes.
can you say you can't do something if you never tried it? to begin with?
Exactly, man. That I'm telling you, like, if more people just realize that, you know, sometimes all it takes is a little bit of action. You know, people psych themselves out before they even take the first step.
But you said the word action.
Yeah.
And most people don't want to take action.
Right. First off the line. Right.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Or they choose the wrong action.
That's true too. Right. You can make a good action or a bad action.
Yeah.
But here's another word.
If you take the wrong one, then you learn what not to do. Though.
Or maybe a better term, they choose inaction.
Well, here's another thing.
Yeah.
People don't take accountability for
That
their
too.
actions.
That too.
So when you have an action, like you said, inaction or a positive action, and whatever that, I think one thing that martial arts definitely teaches us, you know, here, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, is that when you make an action, you need to take accountability for those actions. You can have a positive consequence or negative consequence.
That's right.
And then so that feedback that it gives you, what you should do is you should learn from those experiences that are going to make you a more positive person. So going back to why you don't tell yourself you can't do something is because you don't know if you can do it. Maybe you can do it, but maybe, once again, going back to Kung Fu, what we say, concentrated skill, time and effort. That takes time. And most people in this microwave society that we have don't want to take the time out in order to struggle.
That's right.
And so we have to understand that nothing is going to come to us easily.
No, nothing worth having does come easily.
That's right.
You got to work for it.
And so, you know, it just popped in my head, relationship. You know, it goes back to, you know, being married or
It takes hard work.
or dating,
No, definitely.
dating a young, you know, a young lady, a young man, or, you know, your significant other, whoever, you know, having a pet, it takes commitment,
Daily effort, you know.
relationship, daily effort.
Right.
It's daily effort. So, you know, there's another old Kung Fu proverb, you know, if you neglect your Kung Fu for one day, it will neglect you for two.
That's true.
So,
I always said it in the sense that it's easier to go downhill than uphill.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like same kind of concept, right?
Right.
Like if you're ignoring it and you're not doing it, you're going downhill pretty quick. But like you got to work hard to go uphill to
but
get
you
better.
get more benefit from
You get
going
much
uphill.
more benefit and you feel better mentally, physically.
Yes.
It's good for you.
And then once you go uphill, eventually you're going to hit the top and then go downhill, but go downhill in a positive manner.
So, look, real quick before we move on to our next question, what you said, that uphill, downhill is a perfect image of discipline. That discipline is going uphill. I'm going uphill. All right. Because what discipline doesn't give you what you want today.
Right.
It gives you what you want for tomorrow. So what you're dealing with right now may seem, oh my gosh, it's so hard. I'm lifting
The
these
more
weights
you
and doing
sweat
this.
in training, the less you bleed
Bleed
at
about
war.
it.
That's right,
That's
right, exactly. So you're putting in that hard work now, but tomorrow is so much easier.
Right.
And what happens to a lot of people is they don't want to work hard now.
They take the easy route today.
Yes.
And they make it harder for
make it
themselves.
hard for tomorrow.
Right.
Make it
Right.
hard for tomorrow.
Too many people do that.
Yeah.
Instead
I'm
of just
guilty
being-
of it myself.
I am too.
You know, like it's
I
hard.
think
It's a hard.
everyone at this table is guilty of it in some way.
It's a delicate
shape, or form.
balance.
Well, we're
you
all
know.
human.
Right.
Yeah.
None of
Right.
us are perfect. And, martial arts has really showed me what I can be good at, what I am good at, and what I am not good at.
But that doesn't mean you won't be good at it at some point.
Exactly.
It keeps you honest with yourself.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It really
Yes.
keeps you honest with yourself.
Honesty with yourself is good mental health.
It gives you that reality check and that look in the mirror constantly.
Yeah, constantly, every day. Yep. I like that about it though, and that's what I feel like more people are not honest with themselves.
No,
you know,
no.
they try to cut the corners, take the easy route, but when you look yourself in the mirror, like the truth is, you can't really lie to yourself.
and you can fake, that just I'm one. Some people are one way out in public, but then behind closed doors, they're looking at themselves and they ain't happy with themselves.
Right.
Even though some of the happiest people and you might see on social media or in pictures or whatever, oftentimes they're probably some of the most miserable people.
Well, I mean, we're in a culture of people who
Presentation is everything.
yes, we'll present
Or
a
appearance is
certain
everything.
aspect of ourselves that may not necessarily be who we are.
You show them what you want them. They show what they want people to see.
You
Like
exactly. You show
Right.
them what you want to see, not what really is there.
right.
And
Right.
I think, especially with our young people, they're dealing with the pressure of, I have to be what society says I need to be.
Right.
And half the times they don't even know themselves what they want to be.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Not just young people, but adults too. And
Yeah.
so when you go into a good martial arts school,
Yeah.
a good martial arts school, the best way to describe it, it will smack you in the face sometimes. You go, whoa.
Oh no, you'll get a reality check on a daily basis.
It kind of
Yes.
loops back around to what we were saying earlier at the beginning about commanding respect. It's like it's not like, hey, respect me. It's like people are seeking like the word now is validation, right, through others. But here's the thing: like you have to develop a mentality where it's not that you almost don't. You need to quit caring so much what other people think, and you need to start looking at yourself and what do I think like about myself. I
And
need to do better.
you need to worry about how you feel about yourself, and then everything else
Right.
is cake after that.
Right. Like, criticism, one thing. We are heavy on criticism in this class about like our techniques and things, but it's for the betterment of each member, right? Like, but when you just get 1,000 people like trashing in comments or just giving their opinions, why are you worried about that? It's not a big like.
Let me make
We live in a society where people think, oh, because someone said this, it must be true.
It must be
or-
true,
Right,
right?
right,
Like,
right,
but
right,
it's
right.
not.
Oh,
yeah.
it's posted on Instagram, so it's true. Oh, Google said it, so it's
right.
true.
Yeah.
Another real quick thing that martial arts teaches us outside is that you need to fact check for yourself.
Right.
You need to ensure for yourself that
Yeah.
that person or whatever this outlet is telling you is real.
I'll never forget a guy in the military told me like he didn't like running because he was like, when I turned 50, I don't want to have bad knees. I was like, well, you could either be able to run 10 miles and have a little bit of knee pain or not be able to get off the couch.
Yeah.
So you
Or
choose.
Walk,
You know?
walking with a cane and a walker.
But here's the funny thing about it. Like, he never ran. Like, he just believes this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? He's never even tried running, like, to know if it's bad for him or good for him, a good fit, like,
It's the mentality.
right.
It's the
Exactly.
mentality.
Right.
And so that's why, in some sense, it is better if you develop a martial mentality. I honestly believe this: you can do whatever you want to do
Yeah.
because you will have that discipline. You will have that goal setting.
No matter how long this
mindset.
takes, no matter what it takes,
I'm gonna
I'm
do
going to
it.
get there.
And
Yeah.
I think another reason people have this issue is because no one wants to fail.
No,
I mean, but there's two ways to look at failures. Oh, I failed. Oh, I'm not able to, I can't do this. Where a failure is honestly just another chance to do it again tomorrow and get it right.
It's another chance to do it better, right?
Yes.
You either win or you learn.
Exactly. There's no winning or losing. It's winning or learning.
So we say win and lose, and we're in the mentality, oh, you got to win, you got to win, you got to win. Well, honestly, unfortunately, you probably learn more from losing than you do from winning. Winning sometimes, if you don't have a level mindset, can make you
I
overconfident.
must have done everything right because I got the gold, I won, but no matter how good you are, it doesn't mean like you need to keep pushing. There's no finish line,
Right.
essentially.
Right. And martial arts has really taught. It is literally the ultimate. What is that? A MMORPG? Is that what that is? When you play online and you play the game.
Yes.
over
What a
and
lot
over.
of people-
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I should know. I'm a gamer, man, but I don't play that style of games. But
I don't play online.
you don't like online gaming?
you
No.
play Monster Hunter. That's an MMO.
Yeah, sort of a little bit. But no, there's an actual end to the game. You
Okay.
can't end the game, but you can still keep playing to level up and things of that nature. But yeah. Anyway, so let me ask you guys this. We already kind of touched on it, but Joe, how do you feel like martial arts has affected your mental and emotional well-being, or how can it affect a person's mental and emotional well-being?
So again, to me, it kind of goes back to doing it for the right reasons. So I follow like a lot of like motivational speakers and stuff too, right? And some of them are big in working out, some are big into just having some kind of outlet or hobby. And you got to do it for yourself and like ask yourself, why am I doing this? And you need to be able to answer those questions, right? And me personally, when it comes to like getting muscles, getting good technique, and learning how to fight, those are side effects. Like I'm working out for this. You know what I mean? I want to strengthen my mentality. Like I want to be solid up here. Again, that carries over into my daily life. I don't want to be lazy. I don't want to have like a woe is me mentality, like the world's against me. Like, no, it's like it's me against me. I'm the only one holding me back. So through training, it just kind of strengthens that for me. It gives me the discipline I need.
Our society has easily taught us to make excuses for
Yeah.
the things that we don't necessarily achieve.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you didn't win the football game. Well, that's because the referees.
Yeah. Such and such and such and such
Right,
and such.
right,
We live in
Nothing,
the whole participation trophy mentality.
nothing on me. It's because of this,
everybody else,
It's everybody else.
Right.
Yep.
It's
And
everybody else.
in the military, they say like no excuses, just results. That's
Yep.
what it comes down to. I mean, I could sit here and make excuses, but why? I'm not going to make any progress that way.
I heard a quote, and I actually repeat this to myself quite a bit. Excuses are tools for losers.
It's a good point.
I like that.
It's a good point.
Because
Yeah.
if you're using excuses, you have a losing mentality.
Right.
No.
The answer, like more almost every time, should be, what could I have done to like make this better?
Right.
Or whatever the case may be. What
Right.
could I have done?
Right.
Kind of going back to the whole can't thing. Can't never could because can't never tried.
That's right. That's right.
Sound like an old man over there, Trevor.
It's like the relationship thing. Like such and such does this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. It's never like, well, I was doing this and
Right.
this and this. It's like
Right.
sometimes you got to look at what could I have done to make it better.
More so often than not, we can change the way some of our issues are if we change ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's all about perspective.
Well, it's your mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's your martial mentality. So going to you, Trevor, how, emotional well-being, martial arts.
Like I said, this is it gives you an escape from reality. Like I can come in here and put myself in a different mental state and not worry about, the stuff that I have going on outside. That's something I can worry about later. And oftentimes after I get done working out or teaching or whatever, a lot of times I'm able to even think more clearly about, like what I said, what had me upset before. I might be able to think more clearly and be like, all right, you know what, if I do it like this is going to come out better in the end versus if I was going to come off flying off at the handle, stuff like that.
And let me, give you guys some perspective from the teacher, because now, like I said, you're doing more, teaching because you have your student, and Joe's been helping out with kids and helping teens.
Which we appreciate that.
Oh yeah,
greatly.
no problem. Happy to do it.
Well, to teach once is to learn twice, but that's a whole
right.
nother podcast.
Yep.
Let me tell you guys this. Your individual mental health and how you are feeling and things of that nature, you have to take more care, because the students can really pick up because they pay attention to you. They listen to you. They can really see who's having a bad day. And, you don't know how many times I walk in here and then
Oh,
Trevor's
man.
like, you okay? And sometimes I'm like, no, I'm fine. Maybe I'm just focused.
Right.
But he pays attention enough, or, Joe's like, you doing good, man? Because we pay attention to each other. So, that's a big thing. So when you walk in here,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that you leave your problems outside the school.
That
Right.
exactly what you said carries over into your life too, the workplace and the home life. Like there's, no matter if you're the man or the woman, or if you got kids, but typically if one of y'all is in a very bad mood, you can throw off the energy of your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
But the reverse is also true. If one of the partners is having a bad day, but you come in like, what's wrong? Like, let's talk about it. Then like you make it better and you're happy, or, let's get out and take a walk. Who knows?
Mhm.
You go do something, that energy spreads.
I had to do that recently with my wife just because we've got some stuff going on with our housing situation that's just been kind of a crapshoot. But like she was sitting in the house trying to be out of press. I was like, nah, get in the car. We're gonna go drive around for a little bit. We ain't sitting in here, wallowing in our pity.
Right.
Now it improved her. She was still in a bad mood, but I could tell she wasn't so much in her head as she would have been if I had just let her go over there and lay in bed and wallow in pity.
What
Yep.
was that quote? Get out of your head and what was
Into
that
your
again?
body.
Yes, get
Yeah.
out of your head and into your body.
Yeah.
So
Right.
which if you really think about it, I mean, there are scientific studies that show exercise and physical, movement does improve mental health.
It so does. And going back to what we were talking about earlier about like depression or anxiety, like martial arts is so much more than just learning how to throw a punch and a kick. There is stretching techniques. There's like yoga. There's breathing exercises, qigong, like that sort of stuff. It's all incorporated into the training and all that affects your mental state, like anxiety. Like one of the tricks for anxiety is breathing exercises.
Qigong.
Yep.
There you go.
Exactly. Like, so
It's
there's
about-
more to it.
Every time you come in here, you should leave a better person than the day before.
So while he is not my favorite coach, for those you don't know, I'm an avid Carolina Panthers fan.
Nah, really? We didn't
Yes,
know that
very
at all.
avid.
Keep pounding.
That's right. That's what we're doing, baby. Woo.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I will say this. One of our previous coaches, Matt Rule, actually made a quote that I do take into account. He said, you need to get 1% better every day.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to think about it.
Take emphasis on the 1% part. I'm not going to show up in here and in a week like be a great martial artist, but we were talking about kicks the other day, specifically like kicks, right? Like a roundhouse kick. And I struggle with the flexibility and stuff, but I'm working on it. But I'm like, now I can kick pretty good at this height. So if I keep working at it and a week or, a little bit of time goes by and I can kick with a good technique right here, then that means I must be able to do it like right here.
It's the
I can do
whole
it here.
It's the whole adage, whatever you want to metaphor or whatever. It's like climbing that mountain, and then you realize, oh, I'm at the top, and then you realize, oh no, I'm not at the top. There's
Yeah.
another ridge right here. I got to keep up.
Exactly.
Keep-
like
yeah.
you're like, there's
The
another
journey of self-improvement is never ending.
Yes, yes. So that's where that once again that martial mentality, man. You are never done, but guess what? I'm better than I was yesterday.
Right.
And that's what it's about. That's what you should always. The goal should be is that I am, like you said, 1% better than I was the day before.
Yep. Good
So,
point.
Joe, what do you feel like are the core values of martial arts, or what do you take away as some of the core values of your martial arts training?
So, firstly, respect. A lot of people when they get in a fight, or say they're watching like an MMA match, they're thinking like these two guys like they hate each other, they want to tear each other's throat out. Like, it's like they wouldn't even be in there fighting if it not for that other person. You know what I mean? They showed up too. It's like, and you kind of look at people like you never know what somebody's going through. You know what I mean? So put respect first, and usually like conflicts don't even arise. You don't even have to deal with many conflicts. Secondly, and this is just the biggest thing ever, is discipline. Because like with discipline, you can pretty much that is the number one thing that allows you to overcome obstacles in your life, no matter if it's martial arts or anything. Like if you have the discipline and the will to just put in the work, even if you don't want to do it, you suck it up. Like, okay, today I don't want to do this, but I got to do it. You're going to make progress.
Well, the root word of discipline, or one of the root words of discipline, is disciple. And when you are a disciple, that means that somebody is guiding you. And therefore, whoever is guiding you should be able to impart, hopefully, usually something positive into you that helps develop that discipline. So that goes back to a previous podcast that we had, What is a Sifu, which go look that up. So, you know, a good Sifu or a good instructor should impart those discipline,
Right.
respect,
Right.
all of those, you know, key buzzwords that we
And
always
maybe
hear
I
in
should
martial
have put
arts.
it too in the sense of self-discipline too. Like, what are you gonna do? Or the other word for it is it's escaping me right now. Like doing the right thing when no one's looking, kind of
Integrity.
thing. Integrity.
Yeah, integrity.
I should know that. But even though nobody's guiding, right? Like people grow up with their parents. Well, like what happens when it's just you?
Yeah.
And you know nobody's guiding you. Like now you're the one who needs to kind of guide your kids or whoever. You have to be the one to have the discipline to. You know.
What we have to realize as people that are affecting other people is we're not training them for here. We're training them for out there.
Yeah, this is
Right.
martial arts
Right.
isn't about just kicking. It's training for life.
Right.
Right. And when kids hear the word discipline, like younger kids, right, they're thinking like go to a timeout in your room.
Yeah,
like,
they think punishment.
punishment, right? It's not just that. There's a reason you're getting the punishment.
Right.
You know, because we want you to like have a better attitude or do whatever you did wrong. We want you to kind of correct it.
I mean, I'm very thankful. My parents were strict growing up.
Yeah.
My mom more so than my dad. But like, I'm very thankful for the lessons when they taught me. Because if I hadn't, there ain't no telling what type of person I'd be nowadays.
Yeah.
So quick segue for you, Trevor. Like, so what are your core values for martial arts? What has it kind of instilled in you?
I mean, I can, same things as what Joe was saying, respect, self-discipline, all that. But I think what martial arts has kind of helped me do, especially now that I'm teaching, it's not about me. I'm now helping others, so I got to be there. I got to show up, not just for myself, but show up for them too. And like we kind of said, there's days where I don't want to go do this, because I know I got people counting on me. Accountability, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, if you don't show up, it's not just, oh, I'll just catch up on my work later. No, it's like you just let someone down.
Right.
And that's, as a martial artist, that's what you don't want to do.
So my core value, and you'll see me wear this in class. You've probably seen this shirt. Consistency.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's a good one.
The same guy that says, get out of your head and into your body. It's consistency over intensity,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, just showing up is discipline.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
half the battle is showing up.
Showing
Yeah.
up. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
that don't show up. And to go to some people like a lot of these internet trolls. Oh, well, your technique is bad. Okay, you probably don't train.
Have you tried to throw that kick?
Yeah. You don't know how many
Please
times.
post a video of you doing it and why you think
You don't
this
know
is better.
how many people will post something and then they'll criticize it.
Yeah.
And I'm being serious when I say this. I say, well, can you post a video of, how I can do it better? And they never do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not trying to call you out. What I'm trying to do is if you know what to do that I'm doing wrong, help me be better.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so help me be better. But instead, you just want to criticize me, which tells me, well, you're probably not doing much, because if you're busy criticizing, that probably means you're taking time away from your own training and your own self-improvement.
Right.
So once again, another core value for me is perspective. When you have a good perspective, when you see the perspective of yourself, see the perspective of others, it changes your outlook on life. Real quick. So I was talking to somebody last week, and a lot of people are just like so over their lives. But if you change your perspective of life truly, you realize that no matter what it is on this planet that's living, it's a miracle. Look how many planets in the universe have life. Right now, we only know of ours. Our planet is at the correct spot from the sun in order to have life. We have air, we have food, we have technology, you have family, you have all these things. And if you truly go back and start thinking about all the things that had to happen for you to be here, it truly is a miracle.
No, you're not wrong at all.
Right. It's like the more you see as you grow up, you start to realize like coincidences are rare.
Yes.
It's rare that something happens out of a coincidence. Like,
Right.
usually there's a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with the time that you have on this planet, however long that time may be, you need to use that time appropriately. You need to affect what's around you positively. And I think martial arts, if you use it correctly, you can leave a long-lasting positive legacy for future generations. How many people do we see on our Sun Toy that, we say, hey, if it wasn't for this person, we give thanks. If it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
One person, we got him right over there on the wall, Master Lewis.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Master Lewis was a great example of, a martial artist. And for those of you who don't know who Master Wayne Lewis was, he was a local martial artist in the York, South Carolina community, very well known, not only in this area, but around the country. Maybe even around the world,
one of the coolest people you will ever meet in your life.
Definitely. Down. And, while he is not in our Kung Fu lineage, he would come here and visit all the time and share his knowledge. And he really did instill a sense of community to a lot of the local schools in this area. And, it was a pleasure getting to meet him and have him as, I would definitely say one of my own personal mentors.
Yeah.
Same.
I didn't have the pleasure to meet him, but I do train sometimes with a student of his. But something I've come to realize is that, like, when we go to these tournaments, or sometimes I meet people from outside schools, right, about the respect thing, is that a lot of these people commenting and being negative, like, it kind of shows that, like, every person I've ever met in person that actually practices martial arts, they are the nicest, like, people. You know what I mean? They're respectful. They'll talk to you in such a way. They're there to help you, so.
It's kind of like the whole idea. I mean, I know we've all part, but the quiet professional.
Right.
The guys out there, the guy out there not being, bragging about, oh, I can do all this. It's kind of the guys, the ones you want to watch out for, the ones that, they have the smiling face. Like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Humble hearts, fearless fists.
Yep.
That is one reason that we have that on our shirts. Yeah, Trevor's got on his shirt right here. That is another reason why we have that on our shirts. That's one of our models, because I think what a lot of people think when you hear the word humble, you think meek, and that's not necessarily. That doesn't mean you're weak.
I used to feel like I let people walk all over me. You know what I mean? Like, there is a line there. Like, don't let people take you for granted or walk all over you. But at the same time, it doesn't mean be egotistical or
right.
Like, oh, I'm better than you. No one's better than anybody.
Nah.
It's so.
Well, guys, definitely I want to thank both of you, Trevor, Joe, for sharing your experiences. And I want to thank all of you out there for watching and listening to this podcast. We really appreciate you guys. And if you like what you hear, if you're learning from this, if you're enjoying the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Once again, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. You can find us at the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu. And comment below. We would love to hear your comments, whether they be good or whether they be bad. You have a right to your own opinion. And we also, again, remember, Fall Classic, October 12th, 2024, Embassy Suites, Ardsley, Charlotte, North Carolina. We want to see you guys there. And so as we develop our minds, we also want to make sure we develop that martial mentality. Have a great day. Peace.